Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market. I want to talk about a company that I think is sliding under the radar and I think is a great time to look into based on what we think is going to happen in the market. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm at my mama's house. I don't have my camera. I don't have my lights. I don't have a haircut. I'm gonna get to those things, okay, or at least the haircut part of it. But I'll be here for the next few days. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we gonna get it how we gonna get it, okay? We gonna be learning. And I didn't get to record, or I did get to record. I didn't get to upload that video yesterday because of camera issues. So I'll talk a little bit faster than what I normally do. So I'll try and slow down, but I only got so much space on my iPhone. Then it has to go to iPhone to computer to YouTube. So that's background stuff. But I want to be a clear communicator and let y'all know that everything is not perfect, and that's fine. The other thing too is that I could have sat at home and just recorded everything, right, and just predetermined when those are going to come out. But I prefer, and I think it's a better educational experience if we can learn about what's happening today as opposed to what I learned last week and then telling you the day of. So that's just my personal preference. You know, people do their own thing, but I like to give you what's happening right now. So it's going to be scratchy. It's going to be a little ghetto. Bear with me for about 10 days and we'll get back to our normal routine. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So Costco, that's the company I think that most people aren't talking about. If you're on public, you heard me talk about it earlier today. If you have been following me for a while, especially on Instagram, you know that I've been talking about Costco since last year. But Costco is a little low key, and it's so low key. I owned it in my Roth IRA and completely forgot about it. I mean, completely forgot that it was there. While I was doing the research, I looked and said, Costco, I'm sure I got it. I go back and look, and I'm up 50%. I think my daughter's up like 63% on it. She clearly got in at a better time than I did. But I'll go over some of the key things about Costco, why I like it, and why it might be something you want to have on your radar. All right, so first, the market right now is reacting to two things: COVID and inflation. We had an inflation report that came out the other day, and we've said this before. We said this last month. The worst time for inflation since like the 1990s. It's been 30 years since we've seen prices increase the way that it has. Used cars, rent, chicken, beef, a lot of the stuff that we buy is a lot more expensive. Some of this is supply, some of this is COVID. In either case, stuff is more expensive, and we generally do not like these things. However, it is an opportunity for certain companies. A company like Costco is one of the better places to look into, and it was the same case last year, but for different reasons. Last year, people were buying toilet paper, groceries, bleach, and all types of stuff, and Costco is one of the best places to get those things. This year, that is the same thing, except that gas prices are higher. It actually helps Costco because Costco does have gas pumps at their stores. That's one thing I had not thought about, but that is something that is helping to push the company higher. They have I have the notes here. They are double-digit sales growth from what they had last year, which is good. They also see 8.5% more traffic than what they saw last year as well. The retention rate, and this is the thing that I love the most about Costco as an investor, is that they have a 92% retention rate in the U.S. and in Canada, which means that 92% of people who get a Costco membership keep coming back. That's easy revenue and income for them. I've already talked about the employee aspect too. I believe in my investing strategy, in some cases for my long-term stocks, I want my company to treat its people well. I want them to have all-stars. I want to have good financial leadership. They decided to make a permanent increase for the people that work there, which is great. Also, they made sure that they have a high employee retention rate, which means that it is less expensive to just churn people and push them out the door and rehire more people. It's one of the problems with Amazon is they just don't treat people all that good. But Costco treats them way better, which is what I like, which is why when people go to Costco, they feel great. They have people that are well knowledgeable about what's going on in the store and how to navigate things. Very similar to a Best Buy. You go to Best Buy, you got some good quality people. I've not walked into a Best Buy in my life and gotten somebody that didn't know what they was talking about unless they were brand new, which still hasn't happened to me, but I'm sure that's a thing. But at Costco, things are quite good for them. They're up 46% in the last 6 months. They're up about 49% over the last year. So that means that, one, a lot of the growth has happened in the last 6 months. But two, and they had, I think, 26% growth last year. That's off the top of my head, so feel free to double check that number for 2020. But in either case, they pay a dividend. They've had high growth. Don't take this and expect it to be the next Microsoft or Tesla or Nvidia. I don't think it's that that at all, but I think it's a good, solid name that pays dividends, is going to get you solid growth, and that is in the perfect position for what may happen in 2022. Maybe interest rates continue, not interest rates, maybe inflation continues to go up. Costco's still going to benefit. Maybe interest rates go down and maybe inflation goes down and we raise interest rates. They work in an inverse relationship. If interest rates do rise, which we do expect to happen at some point next year due to the Federal Reserve, that's okay, right? The market is going to be a little choppy, but people still going to be shopping at Costco. And that's the thing. And it might be an even better buying opportunity to get in now, DCA your way in, and continue buying, because in either case, I still got the retention rate. We also know that Costco is expanding internationally, so they still have some room to grow, and it's still a solid company. So in either case, inflation, I'm buying Costco. Interest rates go up, I'm still buying Costco. I think they're a very, very good position to continue to succeed, because at the end of the day, you are still going to buy your groceries. You are still going to get your gas. You're still going to buy the things that they sell at Costco. And because of the experience and that membership, which once you get a membership, you have to justify it unless it's a gym and you don't go. Maybe I'm talking to myself here. But in either case, Costco sells those essential goods. They're in a great place. They have a good brand. They treat their employees well enough to want to be there versus other companies. And that means that you as a consumer want to be there. You want to experience that brand, and you renew those memberships, which is all gravy for a company like Costco. The other thing too is if when we solve the supply chain issue and things become a little less expensive, which means inflation does go down on its own, that margin from what they bought it for and what they're selling it for is also going to improve. So long term, it's hard to beat Costco, I think, unless you're in the tech space, in which case it's easy. But I think if you want to diversify a little bit, you can add something that's not tech, which is what everybody's doing, especially fintech, which is not doing so hot right now. We'll get into that later. So that's the company I think people aren't looking at. You're looking at double-digit growth. You're looking at dividends. You get dividends and double-digit growth. And a company I think most people understand. I think that's the important thing too, especially if you are new. You want a company you can understand. You want something that you can hold for the long term and not have to worry about. So for me, I think that's Costco. Talked a lot about it last year. Feel free to go back and watch those videos and see how they compare to the quality of this one in terms of visual quality, but the content is always there. All right, so there's it for me. Let me know what you want to hear or learn more about this week. I know we got Fed comments tomorrow. We'll talk about that perhaps. I got some stocks that we got to talk about avoiding in the fintech space, and we'll talk about that as well. All right, that's it for me. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.